Today we turn to Australia, where a silent revolution is brewing amongst the Indigenous groups. Indigenous groups in Australia comprise only a small portion of the country's population and are widely spread throughout the landmass. However, with communication technology improving, there has been an increased push towards cultural assimilation with mainstream Australians via the school system and mass media. I now have the opportunity to speak with a community member about how she's noticed cultural change over time and why the world needs to pay attention. Thanks for being here today. Can you tell us a little bit about your story?
Thank you for having me. 15 years ago, things were really different. I knew of a problem existing in other parts of Australia, even though we maintained our traditional way of life, but we weren't really as involved with our brothers and sisters in the other parts because they let us be. Now things have changed.
Changed how?
One of the biggest things you see is in the language. 12 years ago, governments and some religious groups built schools nearby to educate our children. They said it would better serve Australia, but we would still be able to raise and reindeer trade, so we let it be. Our leadership didn't think that it would be that bad.
What happened after that?
We tried using the schools and it was fine, but our children weren't learning about our traditional way of life or our language. They were learning it in English. I'm speaking English now, and that's only because I learned that through my child.
Your community is very small here, but there are Indigenous groups spread throughout this area. Are you still much in contact with them?
No. It's a very remote area, so we don't interact much with the other groups. For this reason, I'm scared that when we lose our language in the younger generation, we're not going to get it back.
And why does this matter much to you?
It's humiliating. There's nothing worse about our language or our way of life. Why should we accept what they're trying to impose on us? I didn't realize that sending my children to these schools would be dangerous in a way. It makes me wonder what's going to happen in the future.
Thank you for being with us today. The loss of language and traditional ways of life is amping up at an alarming rate. As the populace grows more homogenous, Indigenous rights groups fear that the government will not be held accountable for their actions and fail to protect their Indigenous rights. We also have just learned that students are threatened by expulsion and corporal punishments in some schools should they speak their native language. This infringes not only their rights to validate their culture, but also their rights to education. That's all for today. I'm Nicole Dragas signing off with MACMUN News.